All right, so today is Thursday, August 12th. I wanted to cover mindset today. I know a lot of people don't really, it's not a lot of people talk about in business. And I'm in another mastermind, and it was brought up recently, and I think it needs to be addressed because we had a good conversation about it in the other call. And like I said, we can cut in different spaces, not just me leading the call. I would appreciate any input or your opinion on the matter, because I feel like everybody has different experiences and yours might be different than mine, and it's all worthy to be heard. So I a lot of people struggle with entrepreneurship just because you face a lot more. It's easy to be an employee, and I'll start off with that. It's very easy to be an employee, and it's very easy to fall under and do certain things because that's the normal thing to do. Entrepreneurship as a whole is just odd. It's odd, and you're doing stuff out of the box, and it's like the 99% rule is that the 1% do what the 99% don't do. So you have to put yourself in different positions and different perspectives, and since you are and aspire to be the 1%, you do get a lot more hate than everybody else. So there's a lot that comes with that, and you have to deal with that in different levels. And the more you become as a better entrepreneur, the more you have to deal with it. Like, a lot of people think that, hey, if I get to a certain level, the hate won't stop. It gets worse is the real answer. And you have to deal with a lot of these internal emotions and internal thought processes that you almost second guess yourself. Or I think one of the biggest things is that a lot of people aspire to be entrepreneurs, but they can't overcome that mindset block to become an entrepreneur. They can't comprehend or understand or even like think past into a new level. So, and it's not meant for everybody. It's definitely trial and tribulation, and there's struggles that come with it, but there's a lot that you deal with as an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur that a lot of people will never understand. And I think one of the people that you have to explain, not necessarily have to explain yourself, but always second guess what you do is like your friends and family. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird having those conversations, because like I'll talk to my mom, and mom will think if I'm doing something illegal or not, just because I don't have a job. So she doesn't understand that people can actually do entrepreneurship or fully comprehend the possibilities we have in our day and age. So I always tell people all the time is that we have us in the 21st century, and in the day and age we live in now, we have a lot more opportunity than our parents did and our grandparents did, just based in the time and day and information age we live in now. We have a lot more tools and resources available at our fingertips. We can automate a lot more things, where back then it was a lot more manual and laborsome just to work a computer or send out mailers. I remember we had a call with John Alexander joined the call. It was about maybe 2-3 months ago, and he was saying how he used to have to dial in to do meetings like this. They would have a dial-in number with a passcode, and whenever they're doing mastermind calls or meeting calls, he used to have to dial in into stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot more technology and definitely a lot more information, and information is readily available now to a lot more people with YouTube and podcasts and books and you name it. And there's just some people just don't get it, and they have to see and live in your shoes to understand the struggles you face and doubt you have to face daily and stuff you have to overcome. So it's definitely it's my son. Is definitely a issue that isn't spoken about, but it's just one of those things you have to deal with on a daily and deal with more as you progress. So Anybody have any opinion on that? Any struggles they faced with early on, or
Man, hey, Anthony, this is Corey. You know, I always got something. But yeah, I was just listening to you talk. I got into my story, man. I got into real estate. Well, I got into mortgage finance when I was 20 years old. I'm 42 right now. This was 2000, and I had just moved to Houston from a small town about 2 hours away, and I got approached by a mortgage broker. And I didn't even know anything about the industry or anything. I thought it was a pyramid scheme or something, the way he was talking to me. And I called my mom, and she told me to check him out. Well, just a short time in, I was hungry, I was eager. I came here on my own, with very, very little help from my family. So a short time in, man, I really started buzzing and I saw the potential in it, and I went all in. But long story short, within 8 years, I knew mortgage finance backwards and forwards. So I became an investor at 23, and then the recession hit. And, I didn't know what to do at that time. And everything that I had worked hard for at 28 years old, it was like I had a set of skills that I couldn't use at the time because of just everything that was going on in the economy, and real estate had slowed down and shifted, and I didn't know how to shift with it. But I said that to say, my family, at that point when I needed them the most, they didn't really realize how much I had put into real estate and my business and building my brand and all of this stuff. So I was hurting, and it took my mother and some of my older siblings about 10 years they finally came and told me. They was like, "Hey man, we really apologize because we didn't really understand what you were going through," So it was a real unique situation being a young entrepreneur and trying to grow and develop my own personal self and my business, and not really having anybody in my family who had really taken entrepreneurship serious or whatever. Everybody thought I was crazy, of course. Hell, when the recession happened, I thought I was crazy. But I stayed down and picked myself back up and got in the saddle, man, and here I am today. So just try to inspire and motivate someone else, man. Mindset is everything. My focus had to change because life brought me different situations, but my vision for being an entrepreneur, my love for real estate and helping people, making money, it never changed. So, and when I say I've been in some really high places where, I made $90,000 in 3 months when I met John Alexander. I did $50,000 on my first real estate double close transaction at 23 years old before I met John. Really literally being homeless and trying to figure things out. And, so it can be done. You just believe in whatever higher power you believe in and keep pushing. And that's my soapbox, my little spiel, or my input on that.
Appreciate that, Corey. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome because I feel like humble beginnings force you to create to a new level. Like you have there's no silver spoon. You have to literally reinvent yourself. All these teachings and stuff you're taught in high school and junior high and all stuff you taught growing up is just, you have to unlearn a lot of different things and remaster your mind as far as overcoming certain objections and overcoming fear of doubt and fear in general. And a lot of people struggle with that. And I think there's a lot that goes into it just from there could be so many more entrepreneurs out in the world that could provide a useful service, but they're afraid of what their friends will think, afraid of what their family will think of them. And that's what's holding them back. They're afraid of, they're afraid to be outlandish one. They're afraid to stand up and take the front seat. There's a lot that goes into that, and it's just, you have to, it's literally a mindset thing. Like I always joke, my wife jokes around with me because she follows me on Instagram, and she's like, you post too much. I was like, it's not for you. You're not my client. So it's one of those things where, like, it's not, no hate to my wife or anything. She was saying it jokingly, but it's one of those things where, like, the stuff I do isn't meant for my family and friends. It's for to get potential clients, to get businesses to accelerate. And a lot of it is, I don't care what other people's opinion of me is. And, like, it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that. And it was one of the fears I had early on. And I think everybody faces that early on, no matter what stage you're at in business. But it's just overcoming the fear of what do they think about me, and what's their disposition of me, and what are they saying behind my back? Like, oh, that was a stupid post. He looks like an idiot. Like, why is he wearing that shirt all the time? Like, it's just there's so much that goes on that, like, you're always, like, second guessing yourself, like, who, what?
Biggest thing that helped me with that one
Go ahead.
was a few years ago when someone told me it's none of your fucking business what other people think of you, even if they're ignorant enough to tell you. Same holds true to the reverse. It's none of their business what you think of them, even if you really, really, really want to tell them.
No, I agree.
Life gets so much easier with that.
So
takes a lot of practice.
there's
When you get there.
there's a freedom that comes with that, and it's crazy when you let stuff go, and you stop letting stuff affect you. You hit another level where you feel unstoppable, and a lot of people feel like they always have that ceiling, the ceiling they can never get past, or I'll never get past that point. And a lot of times, just letting it go. You let everything go. You let go of the feelings you have, opinions people have about you. You let go of the past. Like, people, I always, like, there's people I might have done harm to when I was younger, or said something I shouldn't have said to them. But me, as a bigger person than I am now, I'm not that person I was back then. So if they still harbor feelings towards me, to whatever I said or whatever I did to them back in that point, I'm not that person anymore. So for me, I can't worry about how they think and what they think about me, even though the person that did that wrong to them was a totally different person than I am now. So you have to let go of a lot of the guilt and resentment that you don't know that's really out there. It's just freeing your mind. And I think it really affects your output. Like, if you don't focus and keep your mind right, you don't perform at 100% or 50% or 25%. It, like, drags you down and weighs you down, just because you're always like beat down by all these emotions and feelings in your mind. So I think getting your mind right can always accelerate you into new levels. So I want to focus on, like, a lot of people just getting your mind right, taking time to meditate. There's a lot of things that people do to relieve that pressure. It might be cold showers, it might be meditating, it might be prayer, it might be golfing, going out and hitting some balls at the range, like, or just swimming. Some people have the weirdest things that they do to relieve that pressure off of them, just to kind of, like, do a mind reset. Sometimes it's daily, sometimes it's weekly. And some people it's working at the gym. Some people, the gym rats, they'll go throw around some weight just to let that pressure off, or hit a punching bag. So if you don't have an outlet that you do, find one, because it really does help. And I've recently, I used to golf when I was younger, and I haven't really golfed. I've had clubs for years, and I just haven't golfed lately. But now I'm picking up golfing with Hive members and stuff locally. So I enjoy going now, and I didn't really understood why, but I enjoy going, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go. It's gonna be fun. And I just, like, whenever I get started, I'm like, oh, this is fun. It's fun. And then I'm there, whoo, hitting balls over long distances. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, I used to do yoga too. And like, there's so many things that you can do, and you don't have to do one thing. You don't have to do multiple things. Like, you just got to find something that works for you, something you can enjoy doing, just to think freely, you know. Anybody have any input on that? I don't want to talk the whole time, and I kind of want other people's input, just because there's a lot of different perspectives, and I see Sharonda waving at me. But yeah, go ahead, Sharonda.
No, I just want to second that. Second and third, Frank too. Like for instance, what you were saying before, you talk to yourself, you meditate. Some people pray. You have your outlet. So you came into this world alone, right? And then the trajectory of your life is dependent upon outside things happening to you, as well as what you are controlling yourself. So it's up to you to allow the other outside factors to deter you from whatever it is that you need to do. So when you are in meditation, or when you are having self-talk, when you are reading a book, reading is important, not only because it's, stimulating your brain, but if you're reading like a self-help book, usually they're written so that it is talking to yourself. So that motivation, you're programming your mind to do the things that you need to do. If you program your mind, the body will follow. You get up in the morning, you say, okay, today I'm going to make 5 calls. And you say that to yourself over and over in your meditation, or however you go about doing that. 5 times in a row, I'm going to make 5 calls today if it's the last thing I do. Let's say you have a busy schedule. By the end of the day, something in your brain is going to be nagging at you to make sure you've made those 5 calls. So self-talk is important. Meditation is important, and not allowing outside influences to have that big of a pull on you. Perfect example. So 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, before COVID, I was a gym rat, me and my husband. I was raised Pentecostal. So if you don't know what that is, Pentecostal is one of the most strict Christian faiths that there are. I was not allowed to wear earrings, and it still sticks. You don't wear makeup. Women wore dresses. You wore things to cover your head when you're in church. So that kind of thing. We were raised in a way where you do not show certain body parts. So for me to come from that all these years now, I'm 40 years old, I just got comfortable, believe it or not, to take a picture of myself at the gym doing like this. The only thing that was showing was from my shoulder to my arm. That's it. Okay. I went to a wedding, and my cousin pulls me to the side. So you're taking naked pictures now for Facebook? And I was like, whoa. And it took me to a deep, dark place because of my history, because of my upbringing, because I don't want to appear naked. But mind you, I was proud of myself. I had been working out really hard. I wanted to inspire somebody to work out with me because I felt alone. So I was taking pictures of my bicep, literally. My husband, I vented it to my husband. He's like, why is this tearing you down so much? And I said, I don't know. It's something about how I was raised, and I was programmed that was wrong. But then I had to center myself, right? And then when I centered myself, when I say center myself, it could be prayer or meditation. When I centered myself, I could hear a voice, and it was like, isn't this the same cousin that used to work at Hooters? Hurt people will hurt people. They are envious of your progress. So they're going to do whatever they can to tear you down, to make themselves feel better. So when outside forces are working at you, just listen to that inside voice and keep pushing. So now I don't have a problem with showing my biceps. I might show a calf muscle. That's about as far as I'm going to go. But now I don't have a problem because I had to center myself. I had to listen to myself, and you can't let the outside folks get to you. You may be thinking that people are talking about you all the time. They don't have that much energy. They don't have that much drive. And if they did, they'd be running their own business. They have their bills paid off. They wouldn't be having to work a daily job. So what they do, they talk about whatever is important to them, which is nothingness. They talk about this one and this one and this one and this one. And they don't have enough time in the day to just talk about just you because their focus is in the wrong places. So don't worry about what they got to say. They're empty, their goals are empty, and they mean nothing. They're here on this planet to just help take up space, and you're here to make sure that you provide for yourself and others. If they want to take up space, let them take up space. But don't let them deter you from what you got to do. I'm done talking.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think it's
Great stuff indeed.
that's
Good stuff.
that was good. That was good. There's a lot that there's so much that can go into that. I think TT wants to go next. She has her hand raised. Go ahead, TT.
Hey guys, hey Daniel, how are you? Hey billionaires, I'm putting in the atmosphere, I'm speaking it on our life right now. And I just wanted to come on here really quickly and just tell everyone to never give up. We got to continue to keep on pushing, we got to keep on going. A lot of our families not going to understand our mission and our goal because you got to remember, half of us, you know, this is we're the first people in our family to take this step. So they're not going to understand our mission and our goals. It's just so funny to me because I'll hear stuff like from my family in particular. They'll be like, oh, well, when you going to get a job? When you going to get a job? And I'm like, listen, I'm not asking y'all for nothing. I'm paying my bills. I do everything on my own. I'm like, and they're just everybody's so used to the W-2 and things not being so traditional and things of that nature. But when God gives you a vision and you have a goal, you got to continue to keep on pushing to it and don't give up. And just like Daniel and Sharonda was saying earlier, you can't care what people are going to say about you and how they perceive you. You got to keep on that vision in your head and keep going. And it's so hard because it's something that you're doing first within your generation. So you're kind of being like this rebel right now because you're stepping out. So you got to just continue to keep on pushing and keep on going, and it's very tiring. But the motivation has to come somewhere. But what I struggle with is I'll be motivated and I'll be ready to go, and then it's like boom, something outside of what I can control come and knock me down. Like it literally destroys me, and like it'll take away it'll start like a day without focusing on this, and then they'll move to 3, and then they'll move to 2, and then I'll be like, what are you doing? You're not on path. And then I'll get back on path again. And in this industry, as far as like wholesaling and what we're doing right now, the follow-up sequence is the key. It's so much money that we miss on not following up. So it's just like you just got to continue to keep that motivation and keep pushing. And I can see in this, and I can feel the energy over the phone. Daniel and Sharana, you guys, thank you so much for doing this, bringing everybody together. And we got to keep pushing. We can't give up. It's people depending on us, so we have to keep going. And you're going to be the first entrepreneurs, the first millionaires, the first billionaires in your family. So you got to just keep on going and staying strong. And I'm done. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate that. No, that's awesome. So Elizabeth messaged in the message. She says, I'm working, can't speak right now, but question, how long did it take you guys to reprogram your brain? I'm 24 and trying to reprogram, but it's pretty tough to not care. So my answer to this, and I'll let Sharonda maybe follow me on this one, but my answer to this is it's not going to happen overnight. And that's okay. And that's okay. So I think the biggest thing that helped me was talking to people that understood what I was going through. And I think that's the biggest thing. Your circle you may be in now, if you still have a 9-to-5, if you still talk to your friends and family like that, they're not going to understand your processes, your struggles, your new level that you're trying to hit. They're not going to understand that. The people that understand that are people that are aspiring to do what you want to do. So coming to calls like this, speaking to people regularly, sometimes it might be talking to Sharonda, it might be talking to Anthony, it might be talking to somebody else in the room that like, hey, I'm having a tough day. Can you help inspire me? And sometimes it's okay to have that. And like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It took me, I started entrepreneurship when I was 25. I'm 29 now. It took me 4 years. And like I said, I didn't get this year one. I didn't get this year two. I didn't get this year three. I recently got this just because the way I am now, like I said, it's more of I'm building upon myself daily, and I aspire to do better. The person I am yesterday, I'm a new man today. Today's Thursday. The person from yesterday, from Wednesday, I don't really care about. Whatever happened Wednesday, I don't care about. I'm looking to tomorrow. I'm looking to today. Whatever happened in the past doesn't affect me, and I'm always striving to the next level. And I know there's more levels to hit, and I'm going that direction. I know which direction I'm going. It doesn't affect me. If somebody says something sly, I'm just going to let it go, because whatever put them in their mind to say something slick to me, I know they might need a joke, not necessarily like a bad joke, but they might be going through a tough day. You don't know what people are going through. So people being and saying sly shit, or sorry, I hate cussing. They say something sly just to kind of push your buttons. They could be going through a death in the family. Like they could be dealing with a divorce. They could be dealing with a sickness. They could be dealing with stress of other matters that I can't reflect that negative energy upon them. So if I get it, I just take it in, and I let it bounce off me, because I don't know what pushed them to say that, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm okay with that. You want to go, Sharonda or Priscilla? I think Priscilla says she has something as well.
Yes, I was going to say ditto to everything else everyone said. One thing that you can do to reprogram is really your subconscious. Your subconscious is the place where all that you've learned, even as a child, you live life based on your subconscious level. So everything you heard as a child, like money doesn't grow on trees, I'm not made of money, different things, ways that your family grew up, that affects your subconscious mind. So you find yourself repeating or acting out what you heard when you grew up. So how do you reprogram your subconscious mind? And for myself, I've been an entrepreneur since 16 years old. And I had to, like Sharonda, I grew up in the Pentecostal church. And that's so funny. I was going to share this as well. Excuse me. And when I grew up in the Pentecostal church, we were told that money is the root of all evil, but it's really the love of money that's the root of all evil. So when you understand that a lot of things that you were taught are misconceptions, are thoughts from poorer people in mindset, in their subconscious. People are not wealthy in their subconscious. They're poor in mindset. Today I'm a pastor, but the way I teach and I groom people is I have them, understand that you have to work on yourself. You just can't hear scriptures even and just you have to work certain areas that have to do with your subconscious mind. So when you're a person who is dealing with family members like most of us are, and they don't understand, number one, you have to understand is that poor people can't give you the answers. People without money, without a wealth mindset, they cannot give you the answers. You have to be around people that will give you the answer to what you need. You have to associate, and then you have to self-develop, work on yourself. So how do you reprogram your subconscious? You pick an area. Where am I having the most trouble in? How am I thinking? Because once you understand how you think, then you can change how you think. So you reprogram your subconscious mind, so you begin to think differently. So you repeat. One of the things Sharonda said, repeating, I'm going to make 5 calls today. But even with that, you tell yourself, I am prosperity. I am wealthy. And it's like drilling down and not letting up until you automatically believe that you're wealthy. You got to drill down on all these negative mindsets, poverty type mindsets that says you can't have because your family didn't have or people around you didn't have. And when you drill down, then you can literally overcome those things. And then what your family says, and I've been there, done that, wear the t-shirt all day long. It won't matter, because when you understand that your family is where they are just because of mindset, somebody has to work it out. Somebody has to work in that area, and you are the one to do it. God says the solitary in families, people who are stable, and you are the one to be the stability for your family. So when you start drilling down on that mindset and saying, oh no, I am prosperity, I am wealthy, your mind will automatically say after a while, okay, you keep going here, you keep, okay, now you have to act it out. You have to start feeling the way you've been saying, and all that emotion, you gather it all together and you turn that into your action. You take action out of the emotion that comes from your subconscious mind and the thinking. So I hope that helps somebody listening, because I'm telling you, that's a big thing. Work on yourself, work on your subconscious mind.
Go ahead, Alma.
Thank you. So thank you for what you're saying, guys, right now, and your stories. But you know how I realize what I'm worth in, like, changing my mentality. It's like knowing who your father is. When you know who your father is, everything is yours, because your father is the creator on earth, right? He has the warehouse over there. It's gold. The roads are made of gold. So you can do anything you set your mind to, because God already paid for it. Okay, it's already yours. You just have to claim it. So if you believe that, you can do anything. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you for sharing everything. It's just so amazing what you guys are sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying those words. Those words, it was coming to my heart to say something. I really don't say nothing. I have my mentor actually here, listening in, right? And it's amazing the conversation that we're having. But I appreciate you so much for saying that. Even with what TT was saying, she's one of my partners. What Elizabeth is saying, you're at the perfect age to be reprogrammed. If you know your father up in heaven. I sent you a DM, and we can connect and we can pray together. And we can get it.
Thank you. I love you guys. Love everybody. Thank you. This group is amazing. It's like family, therapy, money making, just extended family, like everywhere. And it's just amazing. Thank you.
So one thing Priscilla said. Anyway, who hopped in? Hold on. Okay. One thing Priscilla said is that a lot of people, you have to deal with the mindset of your parents that was kind of instilled upon you. Like money doesn't grow on trees. That resonated with me because I remember hearing that so much as a kid. And like I grew up with 3 older brothers. So it was kind of like when it was all 4 of us going through high school, clothes, like I have kids now and I'm like, man, my kids grow out of their shoes like every other week. I'm like, man, that's ridiculous. How do you have 4 kids? Like every time I look at my parent, I'm like, man, that must have been crazy with and then like I think of how much I eat, and then I got 3 brothers that probably eat just as much or more than I do. I'm like, man, this is crazy. My kids snack like every hour. So it's one of those things where like there's so much that goes into raising kids that they have to deal with as certain things. And then like a part of me is like where I'm at now, I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, we need this and this. Go. Like it's not that money isn't a thing. It's just like if it's a necessity, just get it. I'm not gonna second guess necessities, and I'm not gonna question like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. Like, and not that I'm gonna spoil my kids. It's just that there's a line. Like if it's a necessity, you can kind of separate the line necessities and wants. So a lot of the things is like when it comes down to like $5 worth of stuff or like $5, like me and my wife's like, where's my $5? And I'm like, just let it go. It's $5. So like, it's no big deal. Yeah, I let it go as soon as I gave it away. It's $5. Like when I gave away money, I didn't expect it back. It is what it is, and it comes to with like the mindset of money. Of like a lot of people, our parents grew up with like hey, if I give my cousin money, I'm gonna expect it back by Thursday, and if not, I'm just gonna let them go as a family member. I'm like, what? And it's just like, it's dealing with like the mindset of just like the stuff you grew up with, man. There's so much stuff that can go into that lays into and forms into the adult you are now, that you have to deal with. And like I said, everybody grew up in different ways. Like my dad actually grew up in Mexico, like Mexico. So like the way he raised us, and the way my parents raised us, was based off of his experiences too. So you, as a trendsetter and making a new path, have to formulate and train a new path for your children and your family. So there's so much that goes into that. And like I said, I'm gonna let somebody else hop in, but that's just my thought. what Priscilla said so 10 minutes ago, but anybody else can hop in.
No, I mean, everything that you said is accurate. And then consider this too. What our parents taught us is what they knew, right? That's what they knew. They got to the point based upon the information that was provided to them. And now you are at this space that they helped provide for you. So the things that now that you are accomplishing, they aren't there yet. You have to now bring them to where you are, because they're not in the space. They're not in that space. They got you to that space, and then now they push you on, and it's for you to go on and take off. So for me, I'm very, 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 very thankful for my dad and my mom, the way that they raised me. So I've already put it out there, raised Pentecostal, but I'm a preacher's kid and I'm a pastor's kid. So I was in church every day but Tuesday, I think, went Monday or Tuesday. So the thing that they taught me wasn't, it wasn't that you're supposed to be in church every day. It's dedication to a purpose, right? So then as an adult, I'm trying to find my purpose. And I got lost in trying to find my purpose at one point. And then I got to a point where I discovered that maybe my purpose is not for me, but for other people. Or maybe I can borrow somebody else's purpose just to give me the drive to get done whatever it is that I'm trying to get done. So in the case of Elizabeth, and I've seen her post it before, she wants to make her mother proud. That's your purpose. That's your drive. That's the thing that you use to motivate you to get up and do whatever it is that you need to do on a daily basis. Your purpose becomes your drive. You've got your purpose from someone else. You borrowed it, but that doesn't mean that it's not valid. It's yours. It's what you have become. It's what you're making to have happen. So borrow the purpose. You have your purpose, and you push forward using that drive. So it's like a catch-22. Our parents or our families are there to push us forward, but those are going to be some of the same people that's going to hold you back and hinder you. So if you look at them from a perspective of they love me, the criticism may come because they think that they're protecting me, but they're not where I am in life. They got us to a certain point. They pushed us forward, let us off into the world, and now we've discovered things that they're not aware of yet. So it's like, in a sense, someone who's not knowledgeable trying to teach us something that we know better than them. So you just try to treat it gently, not let their comments affect you, and keep pushing forward. Listen to yourself, meditate, pray, listen to your higher power, keep moving forward, keep pushing, because it'll happen. It becomes habitual. Your purpose becomes your habit. Your purpose becomes the thread of who you are. Just keep pushing.
So I was in Phoenix and we met Yogi something, I forget his last name, but we're having lunch with Yogi and Anthony, and he asked me what my why was. So I asked him, well, my why is my kids. He's like, well, why are your kids important? Well, my kids are important because I want to spend time with them and be there for my children. And he asked me, well, why do you want to do that? Well, I want to do that because my dad literally worked like 14 hours a day. Like he would commute to work and then drive, he would work and then commute back and then work, come home, eat and sleep. So when you ask yourself, why, what is your purpose? Answer it. Why is that important? Ask yourself the 3 whys. And I never understood, like, I didn't understand where he was going with it, but you got to have a greater purpose. If you can't answer that, your purpose isn't great enough and you need to think deeper. There needs to be a greater purpose that comes within you to make you get to where you want to go. So, and it really hit me too, because like I knew those answers and I had them right here because they're on my tongue, because that's my purpose. I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to spend more time with my family. And a lot of people don't know this, but the day my firstborn was born, I haven't worked a job. I literally took 2-week vacation. I took 3-month paternity leave and I quit. And that was about 4 years ago. So, and that goes to my purpose. And I knew that purpose day one. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I'm still figuring it out, but it's a work in progress daily.
And a step out on faith, right?
Oh yeah.
You step out on faith, and then now you have no choice but to make it happen. Sometimes when we take on projects, businesses, arrangements, we'll step in it just a little bit because we're not quite ready to take that grand leap. So if you're standing on the dock and there's a lake out there and you got to cross that lake, we're like sliding off the side with our feet in just a little bit. We're putting on a life jacket. Whereas Daniel said his baby was born, he was standing on the dock, he's got to get to the other side. He just said, I'm jumping, I got to go. So if you're at a point in your life and you feel like with this business or whatever it is that you're encountering, that you're sitting on the side of the dock and you got to get to the other side of the lake and you got to swim across, and you feel like you just have your feet draping over the edge, you might need to just go ahead and jump in. Full force, just go ahead and jump in.
So I always
You got accountability with yourself as well. I mean, we live in this bubble, and perpetually we develop these things that we think are really good habits, and guess what? They're not. I mean, we can come up with all kinds of little excuses to put this off a little bit, that off a little bit. And, you know, the mind plays all these wonderful games because we have all this time, and because we own it, we can do whatever we want. But like once a month, and I did it today, which is how I ended up getting a contract today, because I've been putting a guy off with all kinds of great excuses, which was actually a really good deal. But like once a month or so, I become the boss, the same as I would in a job. And I go through everything and break it down. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, where did all this time go? And what are you doing with all these calls? And boom, boom, boom. And why didn't you get hold of this one? Why didn't you get hold of that one? And I can be a real prick to myself. And in essence, you just sort of point out to yourself the things that you kind of let slide that you don't if you're in a regular job because somebody's watching over you. And as a result, I got on the call and the guy said the deal, and you know, I got the contract for $89,000 and the property's worth like $250,000. Yay! Just for beating myself up.
No, that's awesome.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I need you to come and audit me, Steve.
That is awesome. I think one of that's literally a lot of people, when you become an entrepreneur, like once you quit your job, there's nobody looking over your shoulder. You have to be on yourself to produce and make things happen. And you don't have that comfort of a boss like, hey, show up at 8 o'clock or else you're gonna get fired. Like, you already quit. You gotta show up. You gotta show up and do the work. And a lot of people miss that. Like you have to be your own motivator. You got to be self-generating, self-purposing, make yourself do things that you don't want to do just because you don't have that person over you, but you got to be you got to find that purpose. That is huge. Appreciate that, Stephen. That's awesome. That's awesome. He holds himself accountable once a month.
And we hold each other accountable, right? So we get on these calls, and like for instance, it was a few weeks ago, Corey got on, came into the hive, I think it was about a month and a half ago. And then you could hear his progress through the calls. You remember that? I think it was like 4 weeks, 6 weeks ago. He was on this call, then he was on the next call, and he was taking what was being conveyed to him and putting it into application, which is very great for Corey. But then here I am, and I'm like, I know all the stuff that we were telling him, and he's dusting me right now. Friendly competition is good competition as long as you're not jealous and envious of the guy. You want him to succeed. I want Corey to do well because it's going to push me. I'm going to push my hardest to try to catch up with Corey. It's like a marathon that we're all running together. It's like cross country. We're all running together. We have the same views. Some people are going to grab a cup of water and keep running, and some people are going to pass by the table of water but keep running. As long as we stay moving along, we're all going to get there. And then when somebody slows back, this is back to my ROTC days, when somebody is in the back, when you're running as a group, it's still competitive. We'll slow back just to be able to catch up with, or to be running side by side with this person and figure out what it is that they need. And I don't know if you know this about the military and how it's run. The reason why they run and they chant and they're doing the calling, it's called calling cadence, it gets your lungs in a rhythm so that we're all breathing at the same rhythm. So if you are slowing back to catch the guys that are in the back, to make sure that their rhythm is good, you guys are talking to each other, you're calling cadence to each other, guess what's going to happen? The whole group will speed up. The whole group will catch up. And then the guys in the back will have this energy that comes from, I don't know where, but they always move forward. If you notice that the guys in the group, when they run, there's no one like very, very far behind. They always stay together. So if Stephen does an audit of his own books to keep him accountable, Stephen can also call Sharon to be like, what have you done this week? What is it that you said that you were going to do, and what did you not do? That we can help each other here. We don't have to do this alone. Calls like this just reignite us. Calls like this make us see our purpose. Calls like this is what's going to keep all of us going.
There's a saying I heard, and if you fail early, fail fast. And the reason why is that a lot of people they're afraid of failure. And sometimes there's a thing, I literally saw a tweet yesterday. The average billionaire has filed for bankruptcy 2.8 times. 2.8 times the average billionaire. And it hit me because, like me, this isn't my first business. This is my third business. My first one failed. And it's okay. I'm not hurt by it. I still deal with the consequences from it today. And I'm not worried about it because I know there's success on the horizon. There's success on the horizon. And my failure is what made me get to the point where I'm at now. And sometimes you have to pivot. Sometimes you have to realign yourself. You have to take that break and take a vacation, go to the beach for a day and just clear your thoughts, go to the park, go walk around the block. And sometimes what it takes. It takes a failure to get your win. So don't be afraid of failure. Take it on the chin, move on to the next one. You're gonna get punched in the face in business. You're gonna get punched by clients, you're gonna get punched by partners, you're gonna get punched by everybody that can hit you. That's when swinging distance.
Sometimes you're gonna get punched by life.
Dude, what is a failure? What is a failure?
It's a step to growth.
I heard someone say today.
What is it? That it was
It's a process to success, in my opinion. I feel like it's a stepping stone to get to where
in
you
this deal. My offer, the guy declined. That was a failure, and a lot of people would have quit there.
Yeah,
we didn't get there until about the sixth time around.
Yeah.
So it's, failure is not always failure. It's the point of where you're learning to get to the next level.
That's it.
I love the perspective of this group because I'm 42 years old, and it, just within very few recent years, I never realized that you could there was so much power in just a growth in just hearing other people's experiences. You know what I'm saying? And for us to be able to come here and share freely, our experiences, because I was never in a real estate circle where people were actually sharing their methods and their tactics, because it was so highly competitive, and everything was hush hush unless you were paying thousands of dollars for information, or if you were in those inner circles. So I really love it here. I feel like family and everything. And I heard somebody say today earlier that I don't lose, they're just lessons, and just from my experience, having a real estate career, that's what it's been, to this day. It's like, okay, I'm benefiting from things that I put in motion, and things that I wanted 20 years ago, 15 years ago. But today I'm able to look back and realize, like, okay, all of these things, these lessons, these losses, whatever you want to call them, failures or whatever, is mounted up until a wealth of knowledge, and for some people, it manifests sooner, and I've had great moments. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Over 2018, we're the first home on the market.
But yeah, it's like I say, it's a career, it's a business, and you learn, you grow, you have your highs, your lows, and over time you can look back and it's a body of work, and you have skill sets and experiences that you can use to benefit yourself, your family, and as well as help others. So I think that's awesome.
Appreciate that, Corey, man. That's awesome. I hate to say it, but we ran out of time. And I think it comes to the point that we need to talk about this more often, just
Daniel,
because. Go ahead, Alma.
Daniel, I want to introduce Paul. I should have invited him earlier, but here's Paul. He's also from San Antonio. He's a fellow investors in a mastermind that we're on, and it's a mindset mastermind. So he started working with me here, and Paul, do you want to introduce yourself just a little bit?
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Paul here.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah, I just met Alma. How long have we known each other for, Alma? I don't remember. It's been a few.
Since April.
Okay. And Alma's taken me under her wing, and she started to show me the ropes and some things and this and that. So I'm just looking forward to learning, really.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Daniel. I know it's late, but he'll be here now whenever he's available.
Okay, that's fine. Appreciate you coming in.
Daniel,
we're transitioning.
Before you close out, has anyone heard from Claudette? I reached out to her like 2 days ago. I never heard back, and then I haven't been seeing her daily post either. So
she on vacation.
Okay. Just making sure.
I know. It just hit me because she does the morning motivation. I was like, wait a minute, something's different. And then she texts us and let us know she was on vacay. And I was like, oh man. So
okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Accountability, even looking for somebody that's not here.
Right on.
That's awesome. All right, so today is ladies' night. She runs Sharonda, who's to Mariah to me in my picture, my computer, but she runs the ladies' night call every second Thursday of the month, which happens to be today. So we're gonna hand over the reins to her. We do these calls every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday Saturday